Hello everyone and welcome to Pablo Escobar's video series. This is going to be vlog entry number 12 and my last update for Grand Arena season 26, which unfortunately did not pan out that great, but let's look over this. And unfortunately this week was full of losses, but still some talking points I think to go over. So starting in the first round was against this Midgeon player with a loss of banners 838 versus his 1021. Unfortunately no real highlights in this round, and I was stonewalled by a Jedi Knight Revan team because I think I just pretty much ran out of teams to be able to counter it. My defensive champions for this round though was my low geared CLS, which was able to hold up 4 wins. SLKR was able to hold up 2 defensive wins, and Aiden was able to hold up 1. So some positives I guess from the round, and looking at a contender now for the future defensive champion. My second round in season 26 week 4 was against an opponent named Zodiac. Unfortunately another loss of 825 banners versus 1081. The highlight here was a gas first JMK, which I'd shown in last week's video, so I'm not really going to replay that video again. But I was stonewalled by his SLKR as I was unable to take it down. Using my Padme Cat I brought him down to just SLKR, but lacked anyone to finish him off with. My defensive champions for this week unfortunately was no one. This guy was able to pretty much one-shot all of the teams that he was able to take out. And my third battle for the final week of season 26 was against AXM, and I managed to put up a pretty decent score here of 1243 versus 1793, but I got stonewalled by his executive fleet as well as his own Iden Verso team. My defensive champion for the round was SLKR with 2 defensive holds. In terms of, despite this being a pretty decent attempt, there wasn't any highlights to speak of as such, since most of these teams were pretty weak and I used pretty straightforward standard counters against a lot of them. So unfortunately not a very exciting final week, and ended in a lot of losses that saw me drop then from Kyber 5 to a Rhodium 2. But maybe this is a better idea, especially since we're going to 3v3 and I might be able to put up a stronger fight in that sense. My skill rating also dropped from 3019 to 2824, so a drop of 195, and I had 4 wins to 8 losses in total for the entire season. I managed to get 1 out of my 12 attempts as full clears, and for defensive champions SLKR led the charge with 20 defensive holds, while Iden got 12, GG Newt 11, and the Geos got 10. So some interesting stats to look at there, and we'll continue seeing who holds up as defensive champion by the end of the year, I guess. So for the account update, I think the biggest positive over this Grand Arena was the movements towards my C farm, and with May the 4th coming out during the timing of this making of this video, I bought the hyperdrive bundle, which supercharged my attempt a bit. I was able to get Colonel Stark up to Relic 3. The M Trooper team is still pretty much where it is. Dark Trooper will eventually come up to gear 13 once I'm done with the C farm, but I was able to get Mara Jade up to gear 11 with 2 pieces, Short Trooper still at gear 10 with 2 pieces. Iden and the rest of this team is pretty much unchanged, but the main thing here was Colonel Stark coming up to his relic level. This was helpful in a couple of areas. I was able to use Colonel Stark to then put together a better Imperial Trooper team that allowed me to beat Challenge Tier 3 of the Forest Moon Assault Battle. That's the one where you use the Empire team or droids against the Ewok team. So I managed to get some use out of him there with a little bit of lucky energy, considering I undergeared the Challenge Tier team quite a bit. Undergeared Challenge Tier 3 quite a bit, I mean. Furthermore, I was also able to put out more decent and consistent numbers in the Sith Triumvirate raid in Tier 3 or Phase 3. So I'll see, maybe eventually the rest of the Iden team will catch up to gear 12 or so, and I'll leave them to rest around there until I can circle back around and relic them up later on. Probably much later on. But I think Relic 12 should see them beef up a bit and be a little bit harder to put down, and hopefully they start picking up a lot more defensive wins in that regard as well. So that was the first half of my teams, and first half of my C update. Second half I was able to do a lot more in this regard with the weaker teams, as so to speak. I was able to get Darth Sidious up to Relic 4, and Sith Marauder up to gear 12. Krennic and Tarkin were also able to move up to gear 12 as well, and I was also able to make some progress on getting the royal guard further along in his progression. So I'm starting to head quite nicely into the final stages here. It wasn't intended. I actually would have preferred to try and get Tarkin or Krennic into relic levels, but the gear dropped in such a way that Sidious was able to cross the relic mark first. So he has to get up to relic 7, and once I've done that, I'll try and see who I can bring up next. I think Tarkin is the closest, with 3 pieces completed, Krennic following behind him. The Sith Marauder, I think I've got 1 piece that I can craft for him in the coming week, but he'll still be quite lagging behind. But yeah, we'll see. Maybe it might be better if I can get a bit of a breathing room before the Sith Marauder has to go up as another relic 7, and also allow me to buy up a bit of time to farm up some materials for Sith Eternal Emperor when I finally unlock him. But it's going to be a little bit of time, and we're currently in May, so I'm hoping by the end of June I should have C unlocked, and let's say end of July-ish, so he should be really up and running with Watt and the Armorer, so that I should be able to take out more people when 5v5 circles back around. Even if not, as a 3-man team effectively with Watt and the Armorer, he might even be very effective in 3v3s. So we'll see how that pans out. Now with the account update, so having bought the hard drive bundle supercharged the account progression quite a lot. As we can see from the previous week, I went up from 4.49 million to 4.73 million, so an increase of 240k GP. My relic farm currently is Darth Sidious, who, as I mentioned, is at relic 4 and is going to be progressed to relic 7. Gear 13 farms, I'm going to try and push Krennic, Tarkin and the Marauder across the Gear 13 mark as we head towards their relic requirements as well. The Royal Guard is currently at Gear 7 with 5 pieces attached and pretty much on the threshold of going across to Gear 8. Just a little bit short of some Cobantes and continues to be a bit of a nuisance. My energy farms, so I'm currently farming the Armorer, Wrecker, Resistance Hero Finn, IG-2000 and the TIE Bomber. With regards to the Zetas, I've decided to start stockpiling Zetas in preparation for unlocking C, and I'm currently at 47 out of 120 Zetas that are required to apply his 6 Zeta skills. With the Omicrons I'm at 19, but I've decided instead of creating a subpar, underutilizable Bounty team with Zam, I'd rather save the Omicrons and try and prepare for unlocking Darth Malgus. It's a bit of a big stretch, but it gives me something to try and work towards with Conquest, and on paper and from a bit of the previews that Arnold had shown in some of his videos, he looks to be quite interesting. And I think also after C, I was looking at unlocking Darth Revan and building up a Darth Revan team, so Malgus may actually fit in quite nicely here. So this might be a worthwhile investment to start stockpiling Omicrons for Malgus. With regards to the shopping plan as such, my guild store currency is still being used for gear and mostly Comanches, the squadron currency for prestige materials, get 1 for clutch buys predominantly Comanches, and get 2s for the Malevolence. We've been able to get a steady income of short shop currency, and that's been translating nicely to gear 13 requirements. Just thrown in the slight mod update here, so far the account has 126 dot mods, 13 6A mods, 34 mods above 20 speed, and 6 of those 34 are actually above 25. So for the coming week I'm going to be looking at farming speed mods, and hopefully we can augment that cash pile and nice mods that we've accumulated. So that's it for this update. I'll try and put out another update by next week Friday showing the account progression in the off season between the Grand Arenas. So no streams until we're back into the normal Grand Arena season, and hopefully 3v3 in Roading Tour or Roading Tier 2 fares better for me than in Tiger 5. But thanks so much for watching. Please feel free to like and subscribe, and don't forget to check out the link on Twitch. Thanks so much for the support and watching, and take care. See you around the next video.